Good morning from the early morning. Actually, it's early morning. It's actually just around 4:30 in the morning, and we're here loading some stuff. I'm driving with my husband today because, well, it was a great idea that, well, he wanted to drive. He was asked to drive around to deliver stuff, and I'm here because he also had this idea that it's better to be away from my desk for a while, because I've been on my desk writing here and there just for months. And he said, well, why not take you to a ride and enjoy the feeling of being away.
People will have something to say no matter what path you choose. Whether you chase your dreams or sit still and follow tradition, they will always have opinions, some spoken with care, others hurled like stones. Either way, the noise is loud, and if you're not careful, you might lose yourself trying to please them. To feel like you're worthy of their attention, to feel like you belong. There was a time I cared, sometimes too much. I cared about what they would think of me first before doing something. I used to wonder if they liked me, if I disappointed them, if they thought I'd lost my mind for choosing a path they didn't understand. It was a constant people-pleasing life. It's as if I was meant to serve others all the time, without the need to see, the need to serve, the self first. It haunted me whether I was still worthy of love, even if I went against everything they believed, if they were willing to accept me for who I truly was, without dimming myself, without hiding underneath the cloak of their insecurities. But over time, I learned the truth that changed everything. It's not my job to make everyone comfortable with who I am. Their feelings and thoughts about me are outside my control zone. What I can do now, right now, is say, love me, hate me, that's up to you. That sentence might sound defiant, but it's not rooted in bitterness. It's grounded in freedom. The kind that comes from choosing to live a life that's true to yourself, even if it comes with misunderstandings, isolation, and the heavy silence of not fitting in. It has been a painful life. Loneliness strikes me sometimes, knowing that my existence irritates someone. That being me, the true me, will make anyone hate me, just for being me. For a long time, I was the misfit in the family. I didn't follow the path paved with security and predictability. I was the teacher for a few years, but I wasn't a teacher for 20 years. I wasn't the engineer or the farmer. I was the writer, the black sheep who dared to bet my life on words. No backup plan, just grit, guts, and a laptop. Back then, I wrote for free. I worked for $2 per post, and I was fine with it because it was my way to show to my family that even if I stay at home for long hours, spending long hours just writing, staring at the screen to the point of exhaustion, mental burnout, if you could say, for just $250 per month. I endured it. I endured being invisible for years. I endured having no byline, no praise, just faith. Faith that I can be someone, faith that I can overcome all of this, even as a beginner writer, that someday there is a place for me that was meant for me. And all the way over the last 10 years of it, I got a fair share of disappointments and challenges simply because of the color of my skin, simply because I wasn't a native speaker, simply because I came from the Philippines, a developing country. In my book, Non-Native Speakers Only, I wrote, if you're a non-native speaker or an NNS like me, the internet could become your digital battlefield you could never win. You must stand against the ocean of great writers who are native speakers with the resources you have. It is common for NNS writers to feel like outcasts and unwanted when finding writing jobs, even online. Before you could even search for content writing jobs, you've already at a disadvantage. And being at a disadvantage marked my life. I feel like God doesn't love me because of everything I've gone through. With tears in my eyes, I endured being questioned, laughed at, and quietly pitied. They didn't have to say it outright. They didn't have to be brutally honest with me up front, because I don't think it's a Filipino thing that they could confront someone like straight on, heads on, like the Westerners do, but they don't have to, because their eyes spoke volumes. The disbelief, the judgment. I could have chosen to quit, but I didn't. And over those years, I could have chosen to just quit everything and just chose a safer path. I could have chosen like what most people would do, like just be sensible. But the fact that I stayed committed in this vocation, I feel like there's more than there is. I feel like there's more than, okay, I'm a writer. Because if I have treated writing as merely a job, then I wouldn't have stayed. It's like marriage. You wouldn't have stayed in that marriage if it's not true love. If you didn't love your husband or your wife, if that love is not strong enough, then you wouldn't have stayed, even if in crisis, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That wouldn't work if both of you are not strong enough to uphold the values of marriage. And in the same way, I feel like I'm married to this vocation. And the fact that I have the option to leave everything behind and chosen an entirely new path, but I stayed. I kept my word. It's like keeping my word to the divine, a promise to my 15-year-old self that someday I would become an author. No matter what it takes, I know I will write, produce, and publish books someday, regardless of what other people say and think about me. Because I know that at the end of the day, regardless of the choices I make, regardless of how others feel about my decisions, writing will always pull me back. It's as if I am meant to scribble the words I feel, see, taste, and smell, and hear in my head for the rest of my life, until my fingers could not type anymore, until the last breath. And it's as if not writing a damn word during the day would ultimately kill me. So acknowledging why I do what I do helps me understand my conscious thoughts. At times, my egoic self wanted to do something else, but my unconscious and subconscious lead me or have led me in the opposite direction. Suppose I cannot find my ground or build a stable foundation. In that case, I will find it hard to push forward. Ignore the naysayers for 10 long years, more than 10 years, and keep moving one step forward despite the most challenging situations. Even when nobody understands, I keep going. To accept this part of me hasn't been easy for me. It took me a lot of mind reframing practices, daily gratitude, meditative pauses, and I remember telling my sister that I'm listening to this shamanic drummings for an hour just to keep my mind shut. And I do journaling or even a simple 15-minute silence if it's hectic, way too hectic for me to have an hour to spend with myself. So at least I have 15 minutes in between to pause if it's too much. And I make sure that every day I remind myself to breathe deeply in and out, at least for 10 minutes, 5 minutes in between, repeated, like it takes thousands of hours, 10,000, 11,000 hours for you to have that habit. So it took me that much time to achieve this point. So repeated, okay? And to improve my ability to project the future self, I'm producing YouTube videos like this. Although I know talking to a camera hasn't been my strength, but I'm trying, you see. This is going outside my comfort zone. Sharing with you my thoughts and feelings has never been so open, and I've never been so vulnerable with you until I've opened my mouth and turn on everything, the record and play, But the point is, writing found me. Okay. So it's up to you to listen what found you. Is it music? Is it writing fiction? Is it writing self-help books? You want to share your modalities, your techniques, your journaling techniques? Or is it providing speeches, public speaking? Or are you into dancing? Are you into digital art? Or are you into, I don't know, like there's a lot of options right now. It's the renaissance, the digital renaissance, okay, of art. And for me, since writing is my medium of choice, so writing has found me in a way where how should I say, it led me to finding myself again. Okay, so how about you? What's your medium of choice? Is it like what I've said? Is it dancing? Is it painting, music, theatrical art, performative, digital art, or something like woodworking, sculpting, or designing? So if you don't know or are a bit confused, try to look back in your childhood and recall as many memories as you can. So you have to write down the activities you frequently did or the childhood leisures that you can't forget. And I want you to look at the ones you can remember in detail. Like when you're 4 years old, for example, you held a violin and then something came out like, oh, you had your eyes, you laid your eyes on the beautiful piece of violin, because this violin is made up of high quality wood, and you want to touch it, and then suddenly your aunt came in and smacked you in the face or your hand and told you, screamed at you, don't you ever touch it again. And then later on, you have it suppressed in the depths of your consciousness that every time you see a violin as an adult person, you kind of hate it. And even if you were meant to be a woodworker, you were meant to play with wood and experiment, all you can do is just collect wood and do nothing, because every time you touch wood and do something with it, you're reminded of how it was when you touched the wooden violin. If that's you, or if I'm talking to someone like that, I mean, first of all, I'm so sorry that you've experienced that in your childhood, and I know that it's the past that you cannot take back, but all I can say is be compassionate to the 4-year-old self and forgive all those years of hating your wooden violin experience, instead of berating yourself for having not done, or for having skipping all those years of learning about woodworking. Maybe you could have spent your life or your years differently, but because of the trauma that caused you that much pain, you have chosen to suppress it deep down, and because of that you're in this state. And I want you to be aware of these things. So that's why I want you to look at the ones you can remember in details, but especially the ones you cannot really forget. You know what I mean? If you cannot remember, if you can't forget, and if you can, include your feelings and thoughts about the experience, just like the example I gave you about this 4-year-old boy who got traumatized because of his aunt. And if you can do something like that in your journal, then it would be really helpful, because like when doing shadow work, if you can, even if it's painful, even if it's something that you like to avoid in your conscious daily hectic rush of life, you know what I mean, this is something that I encourage you to sit down with. I want you to sit down with the feelings and thoughts that come up and write them down as much as possible. And when you write down, I don't want you to judge them. I don't want you to, I don't like this. If you feel like you have to cry, you can pause. Okay? It doesn't mean that, okay, I have to finish this 5 pages. No, you can write 5 pages today, and maybe in the next day you just have 1 page. All I'm saying is, you just let your feelings flow. Let your heart communicate with your fingers. I want your soul to communicate with your fingers finally, because you've been using your brain for so long time. You've spent your whole life thinking. And now I want you to sit down with your thoughts and feelings and allow them to tell you something. And to do that, I want you to just spend this, this meditative things, activities, journaling, 15 minutes of silence, this underrated things. These are the same activities that I've been doing to give myself, the past self, the future self, the present selves, to conjoin to congregate. They're like a congregation. Okay, because past selves is past selves. You never know how many times you've lived in this lifetime, how many lifetimes you've already passed. And the future selves that's coming. So that includes your 50-year-old self and all, and then your past selves, that includes your childhood. So meeting your 4-year-old selves, and also could include, your teenage, your, all yourselves all together. And within these 15 minutes, you are talking to them at once. And then you're kind of asking yourself, why I'm feeling this way, why I'm anxious, why I'm feeling nervous, why I'm feeling. This is part of the shadow work. As petty as, like, why do I feel anxious when I have to go out of the house, to as deep and painful as why do I avoid going to a restaurant, or why do I avoid flying, even if it's compromising my love for adventure, just because I am afraid to ride a plane because of pung pung pung. Okay. So again, I'd like you to remember the ones you can remember in detail, and as an adult, from the adult perspective. And again, I don't want you to judge them. I want you to welcome them. Welcome these thoughts. Welcome these feelings. Hurtful, blissful, acknowledge them. And if you don't know, even if you don't know how or what these feelings are, just describe them. Did these feelings make you cry, make you feel, does your chest tightens, does your throat constricts, does your heart flutter, does your skin fever? I mean, all of these things matter, because this is about you. You're about to get to know who you truly are, not based on what your parents taught you, not based on the culture you grew up with, not based on the societal definitions of you. And I know you have so many roles to play, and for a bit, like 15 minutes, you let go of these roles and spend it with yourself. If you can, like later on as you go along with this, like if you can, like do daily, or you do this frequently, I mean, just like I'm doing, and I've been doing this for like 3 years now. Yep. And because of that, I have entries to look back, and that's the same. These are the same entries that I'll be using in this, in this episodes, in wherein I'll be sharing my thoughts that time, and then kind of have this reflection too on my part, just to show you how shadow work journey works. And it's up to you how you can reconstruct it based on your preferences and all. And I'm just sharing with you how it is for me to move on from the past, to heal the past, to reconnect the severed past. And because if I continue to live in a way where I will be haunted by my past, then how can I live in the present? Because my present self requires me to be present, to be me, the present self. But if the present self is still unstable and unable to move on from the past selves, then how can she welcome the future selves? The future selves, that is, who are waiting for her to come. And there are so many selves, future selves waiting for you. But it's up to the present self which way to go. Good or bad, right or wrong, egoic or love. It's up to her. And for me, if I'm not stable enough, if I'm not aware enough of my unconscious and subconscious, if I don't allow them to play out in my present selves, then how can I be able to live in the present? If I will not be able to access and channel out all these things boiling inside me in a medium of choice that I've preferred to use, then how can I live the next day without resenting myself for having not done all those things when I should have done it? I don't want to live my next, years resenting myself for having not done the things that I want and wish to have done. I don't want to be the kind of person who will spend the rest of my life just resenting and regretting all the words and actions that I've caused and caused harm, or were they beneficial to humanity or what. I don't want to be that kind of person. So yeah, and I hope that this message, this episode resonates with you, and my journal shadow work journey is something that you can try. And I'm not pushing you to do that, because it's like I've said in my previous all the way previous videos, shadow work is an optional thing for you. Shadow work invites you to welcome the self. It's not pushing you, it's not forcing you, it shouldn't be taken as a force that you have to move on now, because no, it's when you're ready. Are you ready to welcome the self again?
Although I'm just at home, like, it's not really that I'm just at home doing nothing. And that's one thing that most people misinterpret when someone's working at home, I guess. And that's why, like, it's also a nice idea to step away from the same thing that you've been doing for a while, and have a fresh view of things when you get back. So yeah.